When you reach for a bottle of water, do you trust you are making the cleanest and safest choice? Americans spend $16 billion a year on promises of purity, yet 40% of bottled water is simply repackaged tap water, and what is lurking inside some brands would shock you. From microplastic contamination to scandals that forced companies to relabel bottles, the truth behind the idea that bottled is safer falls apart fast. What if tap water is actually the safer bet? And how can you tell? The answers might change your next sip. The bottled water aisle promises peace of mind, but the reality behind those labels is far less reassuring. In the United States, tap water is monitored under the Safe Drinking Water Act, with the EPA requiring large utilities to test for bacteria more than 100 times each month and to perform regular checks for more than 90 chemical contaminants. Any violation must be reported to the public within 24 hours, a rule designed to protect public safety. Bottled water, by contrast, falls to the FDA, an agency that treats it as just another packaged food. There is no daily testing mandate, no certified lab requirement, and no obligation to publish quality reports for consumers, which leaves weak regulation in its wake. In fact, the FDA inspects bottling plants only once every 3 to 5 years, and up to 70% of bottled water, that is anything produced and sold within a single state, can skip even that, moving through a patchwork of weaker state rules. With oversight this thin, it is no surprise that nearly 40% of bottled water is nothing more than filtered municipal tap, sold back to consumers at a markup that can reach 2,000%. While a gallon of tap water costs less than a penny, that same gallon in bottles can run you $2 to $5. Multiply that by the average American family, and the annual spend on bottled water hits $300 or more, a true sign of the markup built into the system. The financial scale is staggering. Americans now spend roughly $16 billion a year on bottled water. Globally, the industry churns out 1 million plastic bottles every minute, yet less than 9% ever get recycled. The rest pile up in landfills, clog rivers, or drift out to sea, feeding the world's growing plastic crisis. That is the true cost of convenience. A product sold on the promise of purity, largely untested, often indistinguishable from what flows out of your kitchen sink, and leaving behind mountains of waste. With so little scrutiny and so much profit at stake, the bottled water industry has every incentive to keep consumers in the dark. The next time you reach for a bottle, consider who is really protecting your water and who stands to gain the most from your trust. Aquafina, a name that conjures images of untouched springs, is actually bottled municipal tap water. PepsiCo's own disclosures confirm it. In 2007, after pressure from consumer advocates and a regulatory complaint, the company updated Aquafina's label to read public water source. The change followed years of branding that left many buyers believing they were paying for something far purer than what came out of their kitchen faucet. Even after purification, what is left is water stripped of minerals, low in taste, high in markup, and, like most big brands, not immune to microplastic contamination. Dasani, Coca-Cola's answer to the bottled water craze, tells a similar story. In the United Kingdom, Dasani was launched as a premium, mineral-enhanced water sourced directly from the Thames water supply. Within weeks, every bottle was pulled from shelves. Tests found bromate, a possible human carcinogen, at levels breaching the United Kingdom's legal limit of 10 micrograms per liter. The Food Standards Agency issued a public advisory, and Coca-Cola withdrew the product nationwide. The scandal left British consumers stunned, and the Dasani brand name tainted for years. Nestlé Pure Life, with its blue label and wholesome promises, is often just treated municipal water with minerals added for taste. But the controversy goes deeper than the source. Nestlé has faced fierce criticism and regulatory scrutiny for extracting groundwater in drought-stricken regions like California's San Bernardino National Forest and Ontario, Canada. In 2015, a recall swept up Pure Life bottles after E. coli was detected at a spring source. Former CEO Peter Brabeck-Letmathy sparked global outrage when he questioned whether water is a human right. He later clarified that survival-level access is a right, but the company's reputation never fully recovered. Crystal Geyser's spring water image shattered when its bottler, Crystal Geyser Roxane, pleaded guilty in federal court to illegally storing and transporting arsenic-contaminated wastewater from its Olancha, California plant. The company had to pay over $5 million in fines and cleanup costs after storing toxic waste in an unpermitted pond and sending it to a facility not equipped to handle hazardous materials. The case revealed that so-called spring sources can be naturally contaminated and anything but pristine. Smartwater, with its sleek bottle and cloud-inspired branding, is vapor-distilled tap water with a pinch of electrolytes added back for taste. Despite the premium price tag, independent nutrition experts agree there is no evidence Smartwater hydrates any better than regular water. Critics call the name misleading, arguing it is just filtered municipal water dressed up in a fancy label. Even Smartwater has turned up microplastic particles in lab tests, proving that no amount of branding can filter out what is really inside. Tap water delivers more than just hydration. It brings minerals that support your health. Calcium and magnesium, both present in most municipal supplies, help build strong bones and keep muscles working smoothly. Unlike bottled water stripped bare by aggressive purification, tap water keeps these natural elements intact. The slight taste you notice is not a flaw. It is a sign of real minerals, not an artificial afterthought. Disinfection is another quiet benefit. Chlorine, added in tiny regulated amounts, acts as a proven safeguard against harmful bacteria and viruses. The levels are carefully monitored to keep water safe without affecting your well-being. Some people worry about the taste or smell, but a simple carbon filter at home can remove almost all traces, leaving clean, fresh tasting water. Fluoride is also added to many public water systems, not by accident, but by design. Decades of dental research show that fluoride at controlled levels protects teeth from decay, a public health win recognized by the CDC and the World Health Organization. Tap water, tested daily, and fortified with essential minerals, offers a blend of safety and nutrition that expensive bottled brands rarely match. Dr. Sherry Mason's 2018 study shook the bottled water world when she found microplastics in 93% of tested brands, averaging 325 plastic particles in every liter. These fragments come not just from the water source, but from the bottles and caps themselves, shedding microscopic debris as they are filled, sealed, and shipped. Newer research, using even more sensitive techniques, now suggests the real number is far higher, with most particles so small they slip through older tests entirely. Every sip delivers a hidden dose of plastic, and the health effects remain a giant question mark. But plastic is not the only threat. Some bottled waters have tested positive for PFAS, so-called forever chemicals linked to immune dysfunction, hormonal disruption, and cancer risks. While most samples fall below federal limits, experts warn that even low doses can build up over time. Heat and sunlight speed up the breakdown of bottles, releasing more chemicals and plastic bits into the water. And when single-use bottles are refilled and reused, bacteria from your mouth and the environment can multiply rapidly, turning yesterday's convenience into today's microbial breeding ground. The more you look, the less bottled water lives up to its promise of purity. Testing your own water at home is easier than most people think, and it can save you hundreds every year. Start with a simple clarity check. Fill a clear glass and look for cloudiness or floating bits. Next, give it a sniff. Fresh water should not smell like bleach, rotten eggs, or metal. For a deeper dive, use a total dissolved solids meter, also called TDS. Healthy drinking water usually falls between 50 and 150 parts per million. Too high, and you are tasting minerals or even contamination. Too low, and your water might be stripped of everything useful. pH test strips are another quick tool. The sweet spot for drinking water is between 6.5 and 8.5, which aligns with guidelines from the Environmental Protection Agency and the World Health Organization. If you are spending $300 to $600 a year on bottled water, consider this. A solid home filter costs $30 to $150 upfront and pays for itself in just a few months. Pitcher filters, faucet attachments, and under-sink systems all tackle chlorine, lead, and microplastics for pennies per gallon. For those who want the gold standard, glass-bottled spring water from trusted sources like Mountain Valley delivers mineral-rich taste without the plastic waste. The best move is to fill a high-quality, reusable bottle with filtered tap water. You get clean, safe water, and you keep hundreds of plastic bottles out of landfills every year. Every time we buy bottled water, we're not just paying for convenience, we're buying into an illusion. Microplastics are present in 93% of bottles, and bottled water is subject to looser regulation than municipal tap water. The real risk is trusting marketing over science. Informed choices start with questioning what is actually in your glass.